I will just be giving some tips about how to start saving and making financial decisions that will be very helpful to us women and us as a family in general. I would just like to also note that I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial expert, so I'll just give my own little understanding from being in a banking sector. So I hope I'm able to make some impact tonight. Okay. So let's go to the first slide, which is why savings and investment matters. For us women, as African women, mostly we rely on our husbands to give us money and everything. But we know that United Kingdom is not a place where the husband does a whole. You all, men and women, both have to work. And what is important is that as much as we rely on our husband to make money for us, we as women would also need to make sure we have financial independence. And when I say financial independence, it's not because it's not that we need to be a millionaire. We need to make financial decisions that are going to be able to help us in the future. For example, to decide how we live our life, how we choose to spend money, or how we choose to save money. And it is very important to know that savings and investment is something that is very important in life. Why is savings and investment matters? It helps us to build wealth over time. For example, if you have a vision to buy a house in the future, or if you have a vision to retire with so much money, or you want to go into education and you don't want to borrow money, you don't want to go into so much debt, how will you get this money to start doing all the things you want? From all the little things that we make, if you don't make financial decisions in our life that is going to be impactful in the future, we realize that we're just working and working and working and we have nothing to show for it. So, for example, if we save money, there's so many things that we can avoid in our life. We can avoid debts. We can also develop a good financial habit. And for example, if you don't have money, like Sister Shala was saying the last time, women also go through stress. If you know that you don't have money, for example, you might be stressed about it. And if you're stressed about it, you start different financial different health issues. And it's all because there's no money. But if you think about it, if you have money, you're just happy because you know that you have something saved somewhere. Okay, if anything happened, I can always go to my savings and be able to do what I need to do. So savings is very important, and we need to make plans to make sure we know how to save. There's short-term saving and there's long-term saving. So my next slide will be, what are the steps to start saving? First of all, the two steps that I highlighted is to create an emergency pot and also set a clear financial goals. How do we set this? How do we make up the steps? Is to track our income and expenses. For example, if you say you want to save money, you want to save 5,000 in the next 2 years or 3 years, that's just talks. But if you don't make plans or set these financial goals to see, okay, how am I going to achieve this thing? It's not going to happen. So let me give you an example. If you make a salary of 100% of your salary and you use it on expenses and expenditure and income and you buy all the things that you need and you haven't actually set anything aside to save, you realize that in the next 5, 10 years, you're just working and nothing to show for it. So how do we create this financial goals? Number one is to track our income and expenditure. Tracking an income and expenditure is by making sure we create a budget. Budget of, okay, how much am I earning? How much is my income? How much is my expenses? Identify areas that you need to cut back on. Sometimes you have so many subscriptions that we don't even need, that we subscribe to so many things that is just taking up our money and we don't even know where the money is going. We realize that at the end of the month, maybe it's just the third week, our salary is already gone, but there's nothing to show for all the money that we have earned in that given month. And if you don't have a track or budget to let you know how your money is coming in, where you're spending money to, you just realize that all your money is going. And also, saving is very important because, for example, if any emergency happen in the house, you don't always have to rely on your husband to be the one to solve it for you. As a woman, we need to also have something, some emergency support aside. We'll be able to support our husband, support the family. And if we're doing this, it lets us know that, okay, as a woman, I have financial independence to be able to choose how I want to save, how I want to spend my money. And also as Christian, we should also set up 10% to go into our tithes. And another way to make sure we save money is to have different savings accounts. And as the next slide, I'll be talking about different type of savings account that we have. There are different type of savings accounts where you can save money. I'll mainly focus on the ones that are provided by HSBC. The first one that I noted is the online bonus saver. If you put money in this savings account, it gives 4% interest rate. And if you don't withdraw any money in a given month, the bank will give you 2% interest on that. There's also another one called, which is the regular saver. The regular saver is by saving 20 to 250 pounds each month for the 12 months. And when you save this money, you are not able to withdraw the money, because if you withdraw the money, there's penalties for that. And there's also another one which is called the flexible saver. It allows you to save money, but you can withdraw this money anytime you want. And then there's another one called, which is the fixed rate saver. The fixed rate saver lets you save money with a period of 1 year or 2 years. So this money that you know that you don't want to touch this money at all, you want to use it to do something important in the future, you can save it in a fixed rate saver where you don't touch it at all. And if you save money for that period of 1 year, you get interest of 4.15%. And if you save it for 2 years, you get interest of 3.70%. There are also savings available for children, whereby you set up a standing order. It's called a child trust fund, where you can save money for your children. So when they get to the age, let's say they're 18 years old and they need to go to the university, and they can use this money to go to the university without having to get student loan, or the children going into debt when the time is near. And other means to save is called the lockbox. The lockbox is the government scheme whereby you save money monthly, and it helps. If you have a bad credit score, it also helps build your credit score. Even though you're saving this money, you are also building your credit score. And we all know how important it is for us to have good credit score in the UK. And another one is called the money box. The money box is a scheme by the government, that if you're looking to buy a house in the future, if you save up to 4,000 in a given tax year, the government will give you a bonus of 1,000%. Just to let you know, this type of savings is mainly if you're looking to buy a house in the future. And every time you save up to 4,000 in a given year, the government will give you 1,000. So if you do that in the first year, the second year, and the third year, if you do that for 3 years, for every year that you save 4,000, you also get 1,000 pounds from the government. So let's say you're looking to save for a house of budget of 15,000 pounds, and you save 4,000 each year, that amount to 12,000. And the government will also give you 3,000 pounds, which is a free money for us, you know. It just helps us to that grow our money in time. And the next slide. And my final thought: every money that we save starts from where you are. Every step towards investing is a step towards financial freedom. Stay patient and stay consistent. Saving money is not something that will just happen overnight. It's an habit. Even if you're receiving benefits, even if you're just getting pocket money from somewhere, start saving the little you have. The little you have today will be the ones that will grow over time for you. And also, don't be afraid to seek advice. If you don't know where to go, if you don't know who to ask about making these financial decisions in terms of saving, ask people that you know. Ask in your bank. We all have bank accounts. Go to your bank, find advice. How do I start saving? How do I earn high income on my saving? Also, don't spend beyond your means. Live below your means. If you are earning 1,000 pounds, don't go and be doing things that is more than 1,000 pounds and start sinking into debt. That's not going to help you. It's not a good financial decisions. In order to make a financial decision, we need to make sure we cut our coat according to what we can afford. Don't try to do more than what you can do. Even if it means saving 10 pounds, saving 20 pounds, every little that we save today will be the ones that will grow in the future. And also, if we fail to plan towards all the things that we want to do in the future, we're going to realize that we already plan to fail. Planning is important. Making financial decisions that will give us the freedom as women to be able to make financial decisions for ourselves, for our children, and for our family is very important. And most important, be patient. Money doesn't grow on trees. As much as it's hard to make money, it's also hard to save money. Expenses in the UK is increasing. The cost of living in the UK is increasing. Every day we have to spend so many unforeseen circumstances that we have to just take money elsewhere. But if you have a saving pot somewhere, you know you have something to rely on. And if an emergency comes, you don't have to borrow. You don't have to sink into debt to pay all this money. This is why I said, even as women, I'm not saying we should hide money, but just save in case of unforeseen circumstances. And thank you for listening.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Sister Dami. That is quite enlightening. I have some questions though. How
Okay.
do I, and if anyone has any question as well, please you can ask. It's not just for Sister Dami to answer. If anyone has the answers. You said something that is really captivating, and that's about the government, topping up your savings and things like that. It is quite enlightening.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And as women, yeah, it's very necessary. But how do we stop our children from spending all our money?
So when it comes to stopping our children, it's not just our children, even ourselves. We need to stop ourselves from spending money that we don't have. This is why I said there's steps to this saving. First step is to create an emergency pot and also set a clear financial goals. When you say emergency pot is unforeseen things that happen that you can't control. Maybe your car breakdown or there is something damaged the phone, the children need new phone or something you have to buy. The number two is setting a financial goal. Financial goal is not just to say, okay, I want to save money for this. No. When you set a goal, you need to make sure you're sticking to it. And one way to do this is to create a budget. And when I say budget, track your income and expenses. Create a budget for income and to create a budget for expenses. When it comes to the expenses, make sure you have also miscellaneous that you have, like if anything happened, this is the money I will go to. If anything is happening that is beyond your control that you need money for, that's fine. But you can't stop children from spending money. But you also need to have discipline. That's where the
They
budget
spend
comes
too much.
in.
They spend too much.
Discipline. If you have discipline, you'll be able to teach them and train them about discipline. Because if you're not following your rules and regulations about, okay, I only want to spend this amount of money this month, they don't have rules to follow. You can only give them information by practicing what you preach. So if you say, okay, this is what the budget is for this month, and we're not going over budget this month, then they need to stick with it. And you also need to stick with it. It's
And
about following a clear boundaries and say, okay, this is what we're spending, and we're not going to go over it. Although it's very hard, but you just need to make sure discipline is something that we take into consideration. If there is no discipline, we just spend money anyhow. So
thank you so much, Sister Dami.
you're welcome.
Do we have any more questions in the house, please?